Alright, this week in the garage we are replacing alternator because my voltage will randomly dip down below 13 volts while I'm driving, and it doesn't change how it drives, it just dips down for some reason. I have no idea. We got our brand new Motorcraft alternator. Gonna throw that guy in there, and then while we have the accessory drive belt off, we're gonna slap on this neat little water pump pulley from MMR. It's lighter weight. I've seen people say better throttle response because of less parasitic drag on your crank. We'll see. Super cheap upgrade. So we'll throw those two on today, or see if we can before church. Apparently the alternator is a pain in the butt to get out around the coolant line, so we'll see how it goes. Also, no longer supercharged. Sold the Pro Charger. Gonna go max effort, naturally aspirated. Build up the Gen 1 Coyote. Got some intake manifolds to test out. Got us a Gen 3 Coyote Mustang GT intake manifold that is ported by AFS. This is supposed to get really good gains for the Gen 1s. And then in addition, I also have a Gen 3 Coyote truck intake manifold, which I would also like to get ported at some point. Not a huge priority right now. I want to test both of those. I'm waiting on 5-star for my tune update for this guy, and then I'll be able to throw that in. But I'm really excited to try something that's going to get me a little more torque, or should get me a little more torque. The Boss 302 intake's great, but it'll be fun to try something new. So big question of why did I sell the Pro Charger? It is because that Pro Charger bracket is basically just hanging off the timing cover by those 3 bolts. And I didn't really like the idea of that bouncing around off-road. It was a lot of fun to drive, but at the end of the day, my bigger priority is going to be kind of longevity and making sure that everything runs well. Decided to sell it, shipped it to Greg. There's a dude from Corpus Christi who's actually driving up to his house today to buy it. So we'll see how that goes. It's here to break loose the water pump pulley bolts while the belt is on so it doesn't spin. We're going to do that real quick. If you ever find yourself asking, should I chop off front of my frame and do just a tube bumper? Absolutely. Everything is so easy to get to now, especially if you do the big skid plate kind of stuff. This is all super easy. I have so much room for activities up here. Boom, belt is off. Okay, let's do the water pump pulley while we're right here. Pull this guy out. I'm going to go weigh him also. See how much rotational weight we're saving. I don't know how much of a difference that makes. The Innovators West crank pulley, the harmonic balancer, I think weighs like 4 or 5 pounds less than the stock one. Or it's almost 5, something like that. Which is pretty solid. But again, I don't know how much that actually matters in the big picture. Your MMR pulley compared to the stock pulley, which looks like this, stock pulley. So stock pulley is 25.7 ounces. MMR pulley weighs 12.4 ounces. So this weighs less than half as much as the stock one. I don't know if 13 ounces is going to make a big difference when it comes to rotational weight, but whatever. Freaking looks cool too. You're saving like 5-6 pounds of rotational weight with all these different pulleys. I guess that's pretty dope. Okay, so apparently the alternator is a pain to get out past this coolant hose. And there's a part of me that really wants to just undo the thermostat housing or just pop these guys off. I don't know. Okay, so I'm not going backwards because that hits the engine, which means we're going forwards. I think worst case scenario, we can't get past those coolant hoses. We have to drain something. I think we'll be able to get past it. I think we'll be fine. Optimism. That's what we're going for here. Let's get this pulley tensioner out. Okay. I don't know. This might just be easier if I move that coolant line. Because if that's not there, I can finagle the whole thing out and around. We're going to do a twofer here. And we're going to change the thermostat. That was not on the list of things I plan to do today, but we're doing it. Okay. Okay, that wasn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be. So before we do anything else, we're just going to put the T-stat back in. And so here's the deal. If you came here for some sort of high-quality content where, like, I show you everything I'm doing, you're in the wrong place. Not because it's a secret, just because do not have the ability to move the camera around. Need cameraman. That's what I need. Yeah, that's in there. Cool. If it leaks, we'll know it's not in there. What the heck? Okay, now that I've made a mess of everything, that's still seated, so that's good. Of course, this has become more involved than I planned it to be. I have this fancy 160 degree, I keep saying fancy like these are all special parts. It's just a 160 degree thermostat. The issue is, check engine light comes on if the truck doesn't hit 170 in a certain amount of time. And operating temp is like 180 to 190. 160 proved to be too cold once it starts getting cooler outside because then the truck just never heats up enough. Right now it'll heat up in around like 10 minutes. The 170 seems to be perfect because it'll get up to temp. It'll get up to 170 like in a reasonable amount of time, which is why the 170 is good because it'll stay open and stay moving. I need to go up to the shop vac because it is now full of coolant. So we'll do that. And actually, I'm just going to dump it into the drip pan since it's all right here anyway. Oh, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. That was easy. Okay, so this is good because the system's mostly free of coolant now, which means I can get that alternator out of there. Okay, so I'm wondering if I should try and pull those guys off so I can just flip this whole thing out of the way. We'll try that next if we have to. Oh, right there. That's exactly what I was waiting for. There we go. Okay, no more splashing out of there. Cool. All right, well, let's start breaking stuff loose. That feels just like some thread locker. Let's get this guy moving out. Ooh, that's squeaky. Ugh. Maybe that's why it's so pissed, because it keeps spilling coolant on it. Ooh! Thanks, engine builders. That's totally quality. The voltage keeps dropping down, but it spins freely. Everything feels good, so I don't really know what's going on with it. Okay. So I think the tough part is going to be, what if I go from underneath? Oh, the internet? Oh, there it is. Cool. Cool. That wasn't the worst. So let's figure out how to... Okay, let's disconnect the battery. What's up, YouTube? We're sending Greg an update because this is what we do when we do projects. Say hi, Greg. Now I need to look up YouTube. 2012 F150 Alternator Replacement. And, okay. So now she is free and clear. And actually, I might just be able to come up through the top. See how good this grip strength is. Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, boy. My stool. Oh. Okay, so obviously, one of these has seen much better days. New one, old one. The thing is, they both spin really well. So I don't know. This one's got 255,000 miles on it. Maybe it just got old. I don't know. So we're still going to replace it. Here's how I got it out for those interested. Move a lower radiator hose, pull the airbox or the intake tube out. You have a very straight shot coming back up. That wasn't too bad. I'm going to drop the new one back in there and see if we can get all wrenched back together. Like I said, let's drop this guy back in here. I'm going to put this light up. Oh, boy. I really hope I don't freaking drop this. Okay. Come on. Here we go. Use a handy dandy pick to lower that guy down in there with one hand. Now I need a towel so I don't keep bruising my ribs up on this thing. 7:18. We're making decent time. I'm going to be so pissed if this just doesn't do anything. Actually, no, I won't. I will not be pissed if this doesn't do anything because this is an original part that is overdue to be replaced. It's good that I'm replacing it. Talking myself into it. Switch all wrenches back to righty-tighty. That is tight on there. This time, unlike engine builders, we're going to put the cap back on. And come on, cap. Boom. Cap is back on. Yay. All right. Clip. Okay. All the connections are in. Now we just have to wiggle it back into its home. Believe it or not, God made some real sleepy head 9-month-olds. Wyatt sleeps for like 12 or 14 hours a night. It's kind of sick. Really helps. Can I get this from under here? Oh, my guy just stood right up. He's ready to go. Unfortunately, I am not ready to go. That went in so easy. Why did I set my expectations so low? Wet grease is goopy and gross. Hopefully I can stop doing engine work on this thing and we'll actually take it out. Just kidding. Next week we're probably going to do some more fabrication. And then the next week, I don't even know if that's lined up where it's supposed to be. And I don't know how to see if it's lined up where it's supposed to be because the oil cooler is in the way. That's stupid. Okay, when you're buying a Impact driver, get the really like shallow flat one. Because for some stupid reason I didn't, and I really wish I did. That would make life significantly easier in times like this. But I do have this guy. And then we will use our long torquey guy. Kind of snug that down, I guess. That's too much throw. That isn't really doing what I want it to. I'm going to try this one from down low. I want to snug it one more time with the long one. How the heck did I lose that thing? Oh, it's right here. I was about to say, how dumb am I? Yep, she is tight and not going anywhere. That top thing is tight. Top guy is tight. Tight. Plugged in. Alternator's all good. It's next on the list. Plug the PCV line back in. Grab this guy up here. Oh boy. And I guess we can plug this coolant hose back in. Where's my deck set? Almost had it. There it is. Then we got right here. Try really hard to keep all of my tools kind of over in the same spot so this doesn't happen. I don't end up just like losing everything all over the place. Okay, clampy boys. Ooh, Greg sent me a variety of things. What was I just doing next? I just did my PCV. I did that. I need to move that hose clamp up. Ow. So cooling guy is in there. This is in there. And it's all hooked up. That's cool. It is 7:47, which means I am going to finish this in time to go to church. Do I top it off with coolant or do I just start it and make sure the voltage is there? Let's start it and make sure the voltage is there first. Actually, let's throw some water in it just so there's something in it. I don't really like the idea of just running it with nothing in it. I feel like that's bad for it. This goes back on here. I'm very excited to get either the GT or the truck manifold on there because the angle of the intake tube is different, which means my mass airflow sensor isn't just going to be smacking the air box, which is not breaking anything, but I would feel better if it wasn't just resting on that, you know, like that. That's kind of not ideal. Tight. That's all tight. That's tight. That's good. That's good. Good. Yeah. It's all good. Let's dump some water in there and make sure she starts. How many cups are in a gallon? 8. 128 divided by 8. Oh, 16. So we'll throw in a quart of coolant, and the rest will be distilled water. Because I want the lubricating properties of the coolant, but water runs cooler. Hopefully, battery voltage is super good. Alright, it looks good so far. Let's give it a little, that's happy. That's still doing the same thing. That's happy. Oh, cool. Everything looks good. Ugh. Pick it all up and go to church. That looks good. Symptoms of a bad alternator is like dips in power, voltage, not staying up when your truck's running. And there were a couple like weird things going on with your idle, which I had all those. That alternator is super old, and I'm very encouraged that that's reading at 14.5 while the truck is running. So we'll drive to church and see what it does. But I have a good feeling about that. Okay. Cool. Oh my, that was almost really bad. Okay, very successful day of wrenching. In 3 hours, we managed to change to a lighter water pump pulley, swap out the 160 thermostat to the 170, and get a new alternator in, which is running great. So we'll see how the truck runs going to church. Like and subscribe, share with your friends and all that stuff. Post some comments on what you guys want to see. I still haven't done a whole walkthrough of the truck, which I need to do. What I'm thinking is when I get results from manifolds, I might do a giveaway for my Boss manifold. I'll clean it up and make it all pretty and then send it to somebody. Do like 100 or 200 subscriber interview or something like that. Easy way to save yourself $300. So, yeah. Tight.